So it's my belief that we are all better people when we know our roots, when we know our heritage, when we know where it came from. Um, I find it to be very empowering to know, like, my ancestry, finding out who or what I come from. And as a lady vet, I think it's also important to know where we've been, to know where we're going, and why certain milestones are so important. It wasn't until the 1940s with the Women's Armed Forces Integration Act that we were even entitled to veterans benefits. You weren't even entitled to have a status in the military. This is 1948. All right. And it wasn't until the 60s, in the 60s, there were only 7,000 women in the armed forces. And the majority of them were, guess what? Nurses, right? And it wasn't even until the 70s that we were allowed to go to the service academies. All of them, okay? West Point, Naval Academy, Air Force Academy. The 1970s were when we were allowed. And remember, I know some of you guys are very young and were born in the 90s, and that seems like forever and a day ago, but it really isn't. Think about your parents' birth dates. When were your parents born? So within their time, within their lifetime, these things have happened. And the truth is we'll bring it to the 90s. In 1991, that's when women were now allowed to even fly in combat zones. Could you imagine that? Being a lady pilot, and, well, you can fly, but you can't fly in war. Congratulations. Welcome to the military. Crazy, right? It sounds crazy. And until 1993, for all you lady vets in the Navy, you could not go on a combat ships. You could only go on non-combat ships. And tell me, how many non-combat ships do you know out there? It's a very slim picking, right? Hospital ships. Okay, so 1993 is when we were allowed to go on combat ships. That's when the carriers opened up for us. That's when the DDGs opened up for us. That's when the cruisers opened. 1993, right? Keep this in mind. And women weren't even commanding combat vessels into 2000. Got to know your history. Know Captain Kathleen McGrath, the first woman to even combat a command ship. Like, what? To be in command of a warship, excuse me. Crazy. That's 2000. And fast forward, right? It is 2015. And I know for me, 2000 seems like it was like a flash ago. It was just no time ago. But Air Force girls, it wasn't until 2004 when a woman commanded a squadron. Linda McTeague, 2004. That's close to within the last 10 years. And it wasn't until 2008 that we were allowed to serve in all combat zones. Imagine that, right? There were certain theaters in 2008 that we were not allowed to serve in. And fast forward to 2015, where we've just had the first female ranger, I think it was two, graduate from ranger school. Like, crazy. The standards weren't changed. They worked harder. And I even remember reading them, quoting them saying that no woman wants to go into these special programs, special warfare programs, if they're going to alter the regulation, because it diminishes the program. We have the power, we have the ability to work a little bit harder, to be a little bit smarter, to condition our bodies to do whatever we want as a people. And this is not just women, this is as a people. So it's important for you going forward. What is going to be the next milestone as you in your job? Because you have the ability to make history. The great thing about being a woman in the military is that there's so many milestones that have not been passed. There's so many things, historical events that have not happened. You have the opportunity to be a part of history. And the great thing about the military is that they are coming up with ways to make everybody have a way to have their mark in history. So I challenge you to know your past so you know where you're going. There have been some tremendous women who have paved and forged this path that is really just this big. It's just getting started. There's so many female firsts to happen. There's so many female Hispanic firsts to happen. There's so many female African-American females to happen. There's so many female Asia Pacific Islander to happen. Remember, it hasn't been that long since we were allowed to even be in the military. Right? It hasn't been that long. 1948. Benefits. And to be quite honest, in the 1700s, I think her name is Deborah Sanson, was the first woman. She joined General Washington's army disguised as a man, and she's the first, and she was there for over a year, disguised as a man. And she's the first woman to receive, she wasn't the first woman to receive benefits. It was, but yeah, I think she was the first woman to receive benefits. I can't remember, but the 1700s, we were screaming and kicking to get in. So it is a privilege. Know your history. It is a privilege to be where you are. It is a privilege to serve. It is an honor. It should be. It's not just something to do because you didn't have another plan. Take it seriously. See how you can make history in your corner of the world. And it may not be in the history books, but it'll be in your hearts and the minds of other folks. Use that power of influence. Right? That's what I'm going hard for. I'm going hard for history. I'm going hard for your success. And who is going to be the next first? And what are the next first that are available? This has been a long video. I'm going to cut it out. But until next time, this is Ladywood. I'm going hard for LadyVets, doing your thing wherever you are. I salute you. All that good jazz. Make it a great day and go hard.